All right, guys, my RV almost killed me. This is serious, no joke. I could have got seriously injured or killed. This could easily happen to any of you guys out there RVing. I'm gonna explain to you exactly what happened and how you could possibly avoid it. So stick around, check it out. Hey guys, I'm Chris. This is the Salty Trips channel, and we're all about full-time RVing, trucks, travel, towing, all that jazz. What I'm going to explain to you today is something that recently happened, and I think it's very important to share with you guys because it could be a serious thing. I didn't know it was a thing, but apparently it is. When I would go behind the RV, I started to notice when I would touch the bike rack we had in the receiver in the back of the RV, it's metal. And when it was wet, I would feel, I'd get a little bit, I'd feel a little sting. And I just assumed it was maybe just some low DC voltage, like 12 volt or something like that, wire, like maybe one of the wires for the parking brakes or something like that might be loose. And I was like, I'll get around to it. A while went by and I never got around to it. And I just stopped touching the thing. You know, you get bit a couple times, you learn. But apparently I didn't learn my lesson. And I probably should have addressed it right away because I didn't know what I was dealing with. Fast forward a little while, we had some rain one morning and it was time to go get more water and take the propane tanks and get them filled. So when I was reaching in to get the water, the trim around the door hatch for the basement shocked me. And then when I was getting the propane, I was getting shocked by anything metal. I was getting a bigger bite than I was before in the back. It was more. I'm like, whoa, this isn't right. So I immediately get out my voltmeter and amp meter. And what I did was I just stuck the negative into the ground and then I stuck the positive and was touching the metal pieces. I was getting about 15 to 20 AC current voltage. It was grounding out through there. What I didn't realize at the time is this is called hot skin. When your RV shocks you, it's called hot skin. There's several different reasons why you can get hot skin. One of the common ways is like if you put a screw into a wall and it touches, you know, and you accidentally drill through one of the AC voltage lines that's connected to the frame somehow and touches, it'll send that voltage throughout your entire frame. Everything metal that touches one another gets electrified. And just depending on how much it's touching, some factors involved to how much voltage is going to be spread out through there. And there's also other reasons, like you can have like a reverse polarity at the post. You could have your connections, maybe your grounding connection or something could be worn on your plug at your RV or the one that goes into the pedestal. There's several crazy different factors. And, you know, I went down to YouTube University, looked as many videos as I can find out about this stuff and find out how to diagnose it. But let me just preface the rest of this video with, I'm not a certified electrician. I just, you know, do my research and understand the basics of AC and DC currents. The thing I should have had all along and I didn't was I went and got, it's like a non-touch voltage tester. You can just put this up next to something that has voltage and it'll go off. And there's different kinds. And it's important to have, I think, this one in particular, which I will go over in just a few minutes why you would want something like this, because other ones may not do what you need it to do. And this has two settings, one from 12 volts to 1000 volts and one 70 volts to 1000 volts. And that'll become very important here in just a minute. And there's some out there that are 50 plus volts and stuff that are not two-way. This does two-way, so we'll explain why that's very important. Anyway, so I go around, I get this, I turn it on, and at first I set it to 70 to 1000 volts. And I'm putting it up, I'm not getting nothing. It's not going off or anything. And then I switch it down to the 12 to 1000 volts, and it's going off any metal thing I'm getting close to. Almost anything. It's kind of funny because like the steps weren't affected, the door frame wasn't affected, but like all the hatches, you know, around the basement and where the propane is, the receiver hitch, all that stuff, all that showing that it had voltage going through it. And luckily it was low voltage. This could have been very serious. And from what I understand, like you could get 120 volts flowing through that. But if it bites you, it could possibly kill you. and apparently it has before. But there's supposed to be several safety guards to kind of prevent that kind of stuff from happening in RVs, but sometimes there's always an exception to the rule. And from my understanding, anything over 30 volts is basically dangerous. You know, the higher it gets, it could possibly kill you, just depending if it goes through your heart or not, if when you're grounding or whatever. But anyway, this is not a video about how electricity works. This is a video about electricity safety. I go around and I test everything, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to call an electrician. But I'm like, before I do that, I need to go. Well, first I'm like, I'm just going to try to diagnose whether, because I have installed dual inverters in parallel and a huge solar system, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't something that I did that is causing the problem. I unplug from the pedestal, and then I go around, I take my meter, and I test everything that I tested before, and it's not going off. And my inverters just automatically kick in, so I have power throughout the entire RV. All the outlets have power. Both ACs are still running. If there was power and juice coming from somewhere in the RV that was causing the problem, my inverter system, then it would read when I touched anything, and no reading when I did that. So I know it was good. I touched it and everything was fine. So I'm thinking, okay, it's probably not my RV. There's either something in the wiring from either possibly the plug, my surge protector, or my 50 amp extension cord. So my next step was I went and unplugged from the 50 amp, put my 30 amp adapter on, plugged it into the 30 amp adapter, turned that on, and then I went back. I went around and tested with this, and I still got the voltage coming from all the metal parts that I did before. I'm like, all right, shut that off, unplug that. And then my next thing is, okay, let's see if it's this pedestal or not. So what I did was I unplugged from that pedestal, and I had a neighboring pedestal that nobody was using. So I plugged into that one and turned it on, and I went back and retested, and I got no voltage going through the frame or any of the places that I tested priorly to. Apparently, it was my pedestal that was the problem. So then I went up to the office and explained to them exactly what was going on and put it in a work order, and they were out later that afternoon. They fixed it. They went up there, and I guess back at the main pool or something, it was a ground neutral issue. Something was not, they didn't explain exactly what was wrong, but they said it was a ground neutral line problem, and then it got fixed. And once they fixed it and we hooked up the pedestal, I plugged back into it and went around and retested, and I'm getting no voltage through the thing. So this could happen to anybody at, you know, any place, and this simple tool here could save you the trouble. All you have to do is just keep this handy, and when you plug up to a pedestal, just go around to your RV, and like the metal frames and stuff, or just just the hitch right where you're at, just give it a little, you don't have to touch it, you just get it close to it. You will know if there's voltage going through it or not. It could have been a more serious problem. I just wanted to go over with you guys, what hot skin exactly was. I highly recommend for any RVer is to have a voltmeter, and this does amps too, which is great for, this does AC and DC amperage and volts. And I highly recommend this one. It's very simple to use. There's lots of tutorials and stuff on YouTube and stuff. And also, I bought this little combo pack for this non-touch. You don't have to touch anything. You just get it close. And I bought the combo where you can plug this into your outlets and check it. You don't have to be an electrician to understand these things. This thing will light up if there's voltage. That's all you got to know. Voltage or no voltage. And same thing with this. Like, you don't have to know how to fix like an open ground or something like that. If this comes up, you just have to know when you plug this in, it's either going to say correct right here and it's going to light up green, or it's going to say something else and it's going to light up red. If it says something else and it's light up red, you're not an electrician, don't worry about it, call one. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do as far as electricity goes. I'm just saying, you guys be safe. Like before, when you were seeing the video, me touching it and getting shocked, I wasn't actually, this is after the fact. That was just a dramatization, just to, give a visual of what was going on. It was completely safe when I went and touched it and videoed it, just for your information. And like when I was waving this thing around, everything was still safe. You saw it wasn't lighting up. If you ever do get a little bite or shock, just stop right there, take your tool, check it. I would recommend calling the office wherever you're at and having them check it out, or calling an electrician to come out and check out your RV, because there could be several reasons for that happening. But I just want you guys to be safe out there. All right, so I'm going to leave in the description area a link for all these. I think every RVer should have this on hand just in case. It's better to know than not to know. And this simple tool will let you know pretty easy if you have some stray voltage wandering around through your RV when you shouldn't. Hopefully this was helpful to you guys. Thanks for following along. If you're into full-time RV living, trucks, travel, towing, any of that kind of stuff, just subscribe, notification bell, give this video a big thumbs up, help it to spread to more people, and give the warning. And it shows us that you appreciate the content, because we appreciate you guys. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week.